Hello, this is Arturelia Anime Room Reviews. I'm Arturo, and today I'll be reviewing 'When SAO2 dropped its promo for Tanami, I was so hooked. I was ready for a new story, and the fact that it came on Tanami, it felt, I don't know, I had this nostalgia feeling to hear the voice actors reprise their roles again for SAO, since it was like a year after it concluded on Tanami in 2014. And I watched it, and what do I think about Season 2? Does it improve from Season 1's problem? Or does it suffer with the same issues? Well, that's why you're here. Today I'll be reviewing SAO2. Let's go.
Not only is it cut off from everything physically, but information-wise as well. See that? It's a surveillance camera. This place was set up with its very own closed...
When the first arc starts, a mysterious online player kills another player through the screen. It shocks the game world. His name is Deathgun. He shares the same name with his gun. Now Kirito must go back to the VR world to stop this killer from killing again. And by doing so, we'll meet a new character, Sinon, a sniper, but also someone dealing with a problem in life, with guns, for that matter. And when they meet, a threat lurks. Deathgun has his sights on one player. Can they survive and stop this killer? Then we get another tale of the friends doing their thing and Asuna's journey and struggle with her life and a new friend. And the soundtrack from the first season also returns, but you also get new soundtrack for this season, which is just as great and beautiful as the first season. And I like that they reused some soundtracks from the first season. And the first opening, really awesome. The second opening, technically the second opening was used for all the other two arcs. It was okay. I mean, it was good, but not as good as the first arc's opening in this season. The ending is also, it's good. Yeah, I can say the third one's pretty depressing. The animation looks the same as the original, and it's still just as beautiful, and still just as detailed with its action scenes and character designs as the first. It's really, really good. Now, as for the characters, the new ones at least, we already know the others from the first season. Sinon is a sniper. The first arc's characters, there's Sinon, a young girl dealing with a traumatized view of guns after a past that we see that triggered this trauma of hers. And then she has to deal with handling a gun, holding a gun, or just a gun that, well, technically a thing that looks like a gun. While she is cool and badass with her sniper gun, yes, she even had a cool episode 2, where she fights off against enemies on this Gun Gale Online game. I can say she's kind of a bit annoying. At points, she's kind of has her moments that would either be annoying to you or just you will probably roll your eyes. She also takes the VR world too seriously. But when she's not having her moment, she does prevail in action and helping Kirito out. She also has a friend which is, well, I guess you could say, yes, sweet and nice and very soft-spoken, but has a secret of his own. Then you have Deathgun, the main villain of the first arc, which he is cool but bad. And I obviously cosplayed as him a lot and got a lot of attention for it. So with Sinon's case, it's interesting that she has this trauma of guns. And when we reveal why, then it's interesting for her character arc. The only problem is she does have her moments which you won't really like her that much. On top of that, Deathgun is a mysterious killer who is killing and targeting certain people. While the mystery behind it is interesting, he's basically a typical villain. But there is an interesting motive with him and why he's doing this. And this kind of relates to the previous season. Then we get the third arc, which introduces the character Yuki, a very skillful swords wielder, also very powerful against other players. Though when she runs into Asuna, things do change, which they both match in skills, which was an interesting fight scene. While she is very cheerful, there is a dark and sad secret about her, yet the execution with her and what she's dealing with, it's poor. I won't say what actually is going on with her, it's more of how it was executed in this show. And the fact of technology at the time, or the future. And most people would agree with me on this, but you probably know what I'm talking about with Yuki's problem. She was, however, interesting, yet she was only in the third arc with a few other characters that were new, which you would have to see what I mean. I will say though, Asuna's build-up in here was excellent. I liked the fact that they gave her more character, more screen time in this arc. That's the best part about the third arc. While I do like Yuki, I think Asuna had more of a development here. With her and her relationship with her mom. It worked, and I really liked that in this arc. And it was more of a real life thing for her too, which was very, very, very interesting. I can say this was the only thing that was actually good about the third arc, was Asuna having more screen time. I did like some of the fighting scenes, but the Fairyland, why? But I will say that what I did also like about the third arc was that it did jump back and forth between Asuna and Yuki's relationship. But this whole arc was mostly Asuna's and Yuki's story. Now, as for my enjoyment of SAO 2, when it came on the first night on Toonami, I was so happy. I really enjoyed sitting down watching with my mom and sis SAO again. However, here's the catch, and I'm going to break this down. Arc 1 was interesting. It was pretty good overall, and I liked them trying to solve the crime and mystery on who the killer was, and why he was doing this, and how he was doing it. But there was some issues. A big one was the fact that it was too slow. It may have had some actions here and there, but by kind of close to the middle, around there, it did slow down a bit. I know they wanted to show and develop a little bit more detail of what was going on, but it was a little too slow for its own good. Kirito also had an issue with this. He was concluding that you can't really kill people in the VR world anymore, but in a sense it kind of flops with that because it could happen again if someone decided to do that. You can't just say it can't happen again. You can't kill people. It could. That was another issue with Kirito's character in this season. The other part with Kirito was the fact that he now has PTSD. While we could understand this due to the first season of SAO with the Aincrad arc, I mean, he went through hell. But the fact that this all of a sudden started showing up with him is, well, okay. This all has to do with Death Gun and Laughing Coffin from the first season. I also thought this first arc kind of had combinations of Terminator and Star Wars. And yes, that lightsaber. The second arc was meh. All it was their friends trying to save the Fairyland world from getting deleted, and they went on a journey. I mean, the animation was nice, yes, I like the character interactions. There was really no life-threatening situation in this arc. And, I mean, it was just the game going to be deleted, which would have been fun, because I didn't really care about Fairyland. All this part was a filler arc. I mean, yeah, we get most of the characters again, but still. Yeah, I didn't care much about the second arc. The third arc was okay. It was better than the second, but not as good as the first. But like I mentioned about Asuna, that was the best part. However, this was probably the most depressing part about SAO 2, was the third arc. Very depressing and sad story. I mean, yes, I watched it because it's SAO, but it really deals with real life stuff. And Asuna and her mother. I like seeing the different characters, and the action scenes were good. Asuna has more character time development here, which made it shine with more of her perspective. But as with Arc 2, because there wasn't really any sense of danger and it was sad, this arc was just okay. But the dub was Excelente as ever. The enjoyment, it's hard. It's kind of hard. One arc was good, the others weren't as good as the first, which I enjoyed. The third arc was a bit better than the second arc. Second arc was bleh. All I can say, the first one was the only one that really stood out in this second season, even though it was slow.
But you know what? The guest house I was in didn't have Wi-Fi. Fun, right? It wasn't.
SAO 2... It's very hard. Like I mentioned, one arc was better than the other two. The third one was okay, better than the second. The second one was not that great. The animation's great. We do get the characters back, but especially the fact that the first arc also had another issue. And that was close to almost a sexual sort of assault. Yeah. This season suffers with a little bit more problems, but is it still worth a watch? Yes. Is it great? Not as good as the first arc in season 1. This is the problem about SEO. I enjoy it for what it is. Don't get me wrong. Season 2, while it brought a different world, which I like, Gun Gale Online, with its problems, that's the thing. I believe I would give it like a 7 out of 10. It's good, but it's not as great as how the first season started out. Even though the second arc in the first season was not that good. It suffers with a lot of issues, but you still may have some fun watching SAO 2. I enjoyed watching it on Toonami. I really did enjoy it, especially the first arc. Though with me noticing the problems and my mom noticing the problems, yeah, you're going to see problems. Overall, it is enjoyable for what it is, if you're an SAO fan. As for my recommendation, there is obviously the SAO movie, Oral Scale Online, which takes place after Season 2. On top of that, you have Season 3 of SAO. And then on top of that, you get the TV edition, which has more fairylands, and there's short recap of the SAO series, but Well, this is Arturelia Anime Room Reviews, signing off.